Somewhere out here, past the beaten trails and beyond the reach of our eyes, lies a forest like no other. This is the Redwood Forest, and there are parts of it you were never meant to see.
These are entire worlds and ecosystems, totally hidden from the human eye.
This forest holds secrets that are immensely well guarded. Some are protected by law, while others by nature itself. But behind the warnings and shadows is something extraordinary. And today we are taking a look inside this hidden forest, and what we find just might change how you see nature forever. In 1998, a couple of tree-loving explorers wandered off-trail in Jedediah Smith Redwood State Park, and they stumbled onto something massive. Literally. They discovered a remarkable cluster of giant ancient redwoods, now known as the Grove of the Titans.
These were trees with names like the Lost Monarch and Screaming Titans, which were two massive trees conjoined together. Now, a lot of these trees are well over 1,000 years old.
Interestingly though, following its discovery, the grove was kept completely secret. For over 20 years, it was shrouded in shadow. The grove was left off of maps, out of brochures, and nobody spoke about it to the public. The only ones who knew of its existence were park officials and scientists, and they fully intended to keep it that way. But secrets don't last forever. Around 2011, the grove's location leaked out, and as word of the Grove of the Titans spread, foot traffic began to increase rapidly. People explored these incredible giants, going off-trail, stomping on root systems, sliding down moss-covered logs, and unknowingly causing long-term damage to the forest floor. So the park stepped in, and in 2021 they unveiled a carefully engineered trail system, complete with elevated walkways. The trail does not go through the entire grove, but instead traverses a small part of it to give people a glimpse into this incredible place. It's not flashy, it doesn't take you to every tree, but it does let you experience the grove without destroying it in the process.
You can kind of think of this as like a guided peek behind a curtain. It's not a backstage pass to see everything, but it does give you a glimpse.
Even though the vast majority of the Grove of the Titans is off limits, it is still the best explored place that we are going to talk about today, because the next few locations are completely secret. Somewhere out here, hidden beneath a ceiling of clouds and leaves, is the tallest tree on Earth. Its name is Hyperion. Discovered in 2006, this tree is currently the tallest known living organism on the planet. At nearly 380 feet tall, it is taller than the Statue of Liberty and Big Ben. It's basically a natural skyscraper, and for a very long time, it was also a closely guarded secret. People knew of the tree, but nobody knew where to find it. To most, Hyperion was accessible only in legend, off limits to our eyes, but not our imaginations. Until one day, when its location was leaked online.
Curious hikers began trampling through the undergrowth, hoping to just catch a glimpse of the world's tallest tree. But what they ended up doing was causing a lot of damage to the ferns, the mosses, and even the tree saplings that were in the area. And they caused damage that would take probably centuries to heal.
In response to this damage, in 2022, Redwood National Park made it official. Hyperion is now completely off limits. Anyone caught approaching it faces a hefty $5,000 fine and time in jail. And this isn't because the tree is dangerous, it's because we are. Still, with laws being the thing that limits the public's access, I suppose you could argue that Hyperion isn't truly a secret. So now let's go to a place that is completely unexplored by humans, because it's not laws that keep us out, but nature itself. Perhaps the wildest part of the Redwood Forest is above your head. Something that is amazing about the Redwood Forest is that there is an entire world up in its canopies. At all heights, from the roots to the treetops, this forest is alive.
The Redwood Canopy is often talked about as if it's another world, and that's not an exaggeration. Climbers who have actually been up there have described it like it's another planet.
High above the forest floor, beyond the reach of sunlight-dappled trails and visitor footsteps, lies one of the most mysterious ecosystems on Earth. For centuries, it was completely unknown, dismissed as lifeless by scientists who never imagined what waited above. But finally, when researchers began climbing the treetops, they uncovered a world that defied expectations. Mats of soil resting on massive branches, ferns and berry bushes growing hundreds of feet in the air. Flying squirrels leap between branches. Some salamanders live their entire lives up in the canopies without ever touching the ground. These canopy realms are home to their own unique webs of life. Delicate and still largely undocumented. Even now, most redwoods have never been climbed. What exists up there, and the fog and shadows, balanced atop living skyscrapers, remains one of nature's most tantalizing secrets. But here's the catch. You'll probably never see it, not because it's off limits, but because it's unreachable. Accessing the canopy takes permits, rope systems, years of training, and a very strong stomach for heights. And even so, there are some trees that may simply be impossible to ascend. Only a handful of researchers in the world have ever been up to a redwood canopy. It is one of the most extraordinary and unexplored ecosystems on Earth. Scientists only started getting up there in the 1990s, and to this day, the vast majority of redwood trees remain unclimbed and unstudied. In a way, the redwood canopy is as distant and mysterious as the deep sea, only instead of being hundreds of feet below us, it's hundreds of feet above. So, why do these places in the redwood forest matter? Why should we care about groves we can't hike in, or treetops we'll never climb? Well, I for one think that it's because it's not just about what we can hike, photograph, and explore. It's also about what we leave untouched.
The redwood forest is one of the few places on Earth that still feels bigger than us, older than us, and grander than us.
It reminds us that we are part of something much larger and much more fragile than we often remember. In a world where so much gets cut down, paved over, or turned into a parking lot, these quiet groves are an act of resistance. They're a whisper from the past that says, maybe we as humans don't have to own everything and change it in order to love it.
When you think about it, we really do put our mark and make ours whatever we touch.
Even if you never stand beneath Hyperion, or walk the full grove of the Titans, or see the canopy's hanging gardens, what matters most is that they're still there. Because just knowing they exist, wild, breathing, and left alone, tells us something about who we are as humans, or maybe who we want to continue to become. So next time you see a trail sign that says area closed, maybe don't think of it as something you're being denied, but something you are being trusted to protect. And that is all I have for you today. If you like this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so that I can see you in the next one.